If we are thrown into the fiery furnace, our God is able to save us from it, and our God will rescue us from your hand. When I was at school, I had a good upbringing, but when I was at school, I had a mild form of, we think it now is what you'd call dyslexia, and I mumble my words. You think I'm just English, okay? But sometimes I mumble my words, okay? I have a slight problem in my brain. Well, probably a few problems in my brain, but specifically in this case, I have a slight problem in my brain, okay? And so sometimes I stumble my words. When I was at school, the young people had a nickname for me. They called me 33 and a third. Now, for those of you who'll understand this, who are old, all right, you'll understand that when a single player in record, which is what they were before CDs and before cassettes, were records, and they went round on this thing called a turntable, and single playing records went round at 45 RPM, but albums went round at 33 and a third RPM. So they used to say that my voice was like a single playing record going at album speed. They had a game at my school when the teachers never turned up called Crucify the Christian. So what they would do is when a teacher was late, they would hang me from the ceiling, or they would bury me under the chairs. In my school, it was an all-boys school, and so the harder you were, the tougher, the better fighter you were, the more holes you had in your Doc Martens. You either had 18 holes or 32 holes. My mum bought me slip-on Doc Martens. So they had a nickname, they called me calipers, which was the kind of thing you have braces on your legs when you're crippled. These were the things. So when I was young, I was not the trendiest kid in my class, okay? Bear this in mind. But what I've begun to understand is if you begin to see what God and how God is able and what he can do in your life, it's incredible. So God eventually called me. My complaint with things like I showed you with the story of Susan Kappa, who was tortured. So I went into schools. I tried to get into the schools. I won't tell you a story of how, but I started to get into the schools. I started to share my faith in schools. And as I started to do it, God started to give me an ability to speak properly in the sense of public communication. He started to give me gifts of creativity so I could do it in a way that people actually enjoyed listening to me talk, even if they weren't Christians. Like, this is easy because you're Christians, you know? Imagine doing this on the streets of Manchester. Imagine doing this in a pub where nobody believes, or a school where nobody believes.